I mean, you said it well yourself. They just refine and they perfect. But of course, that is not what we're about here. For the time being,
Oh yeah,
it's
not at all. We are aping it up.
Yeah, it's all about the chaos right now, and here we go. We are loading into our best of 5 grand finals.
Oh, get your predictions in, chat. Who do you think's gonna win this? Two very smart, very big-brained players, and one of them is going to be spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan. Our red Zerg player, coming out from the land of Korea, representing his team Alpha X. He is RagnaroK.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean and Terran player representing Storm Gaming. It is GuMiho.
Yep.
Go on.
Oh. Thinking back a little bit, I'm really, really glad that Cure was able to do well this bracket. I'm really glad to see GuMiho in this finals, and I'm really excited to see what he'll whip out. But I feel like there's a bit of a missed opportunity here for RagnaroK to have gotten revenge on not just one, but 2 players who broke his mental.
He is here for revenge, and we'll see if he can get it. I don't know if you noticed, but RagnaroK did go for a pool first opener. Safety pool. He went for a spawning pool, then hatchery, then gas. So because of this, he's going to have early access to these lings. He's going to be able to rush across the map. This is to, in a way, hard counter any kind of proxy play, and this is also a way to maybe get a little bit of economic damage and punish this low ground CC.
Yeah, I'm sure RagnaroK was watching at least the last game of GuMiho versus Solar, so he knows that it's a very real possibility that GuMiho will just whip out another Proxy Rax build. This time, though, GuMiho going for a standard Reaper expand.
Yeah, and the Reaper is moving out across the map. The Lings are able to avoid the pathing of that Reaper, and they're going to be able to rock up here and try and deny this CC. Behind this, we do see, just a standard follow-up. We do see a Marine on the way. The Lings do reveal themselves, and they try to go first round on the Marine. Up, up, up.
Yeah, they get right into the main base, but this is where GuMiho wants to fight with his SCVs. I'm a little bit surprised that GuMiho is committing to more and more Marines. He's not getting an add-on just yet.
Yeah, more Marines are on the way. The Ling's going to get cleaned up, but the target firing is honestly quite good. 3 SCVs have already gone down, and a lot of lost mining time.
Yeah, that's a huge commitment coming out here from GuMiho. I'm not sure if he was able to scout RagnaroK just yet, but he is forced to retreat and bring his Reaper back home just for a little bit of safety. In fairness, RagnaroK isn't really getting anything behind this other than just droning up and making sure his economy is stable, but I'm sure GuMiho would at least like to have that confirmation.
Exactly. Like, the scary thing about pool first openers is that there could be a Roach Warren behind it, so GuMiho has to try and scout. He confirms the third, and I don't blame him. He goes straight into the main base, and he dives even past the Queen. He tanks some shots. He's maybe even looking to give himself up as he tries to confirm a scout to see what's behind that mineral line.
Yeah, he does confirm the single gas, I believe. Hasn't quite gotten to natural base just yet, or actually I think he did earlier on. I mean, we saw that it was saturated-ish.
Yeah, initially when his Reaper went across the map, I believe he did get eyes on that natural, and we have confirmation. So yeah, GuMiho just making sure that there's no roaches. Now he feels pretty safe back at home as he's going into a 1-1-1 opener. So he's looking to be quite aggressive here. His third CC is delayed.
Yeah, slightly delayed. I mean, it's not a 3cc before starport or anything, but he is still getting Banshees. I guess more as a safety precaution, but it does give him an opportunity to harass across the map as well.
Yeah, GuMiho, like, the onus is now going to be on him to make sure that these Banshees pay for themselves. Because he didn't go 3cc Banshee, right? He didn't go for that economic opener. He went for a more safer or aggressive variant, depending on how you look at it. So, yeah, we'll see if GuMiho can get the damage done. Meanwhile, he read the situation correctly, because we do have a Roach Warren on the way.
Oh, as a wise man once said, aggression is safety. Or aggression keeps you safe.
I mean, I'll be honest, I think whenever you play against RagnaroK, you just need Banshees. I think it's just smart to just open 3cc Banshee every game. Like, whether it's 3cc Banshee or 1-1-1 into Banshees, the likelihood of RagnaroK going into Roaches is quite high.
You know Kyo's just messaging GuMiho.
Yeah.
After his series, like, bro, watch out! Roaches! They're everywhere.
Like, mate, I'm gonna 3-rack soon. It doesn't matter. It's I'm gonna. Roaches don't shoot up. I'm just gonna make BCs, Poppy. Don't worry about it. As RagnaroK, he is cutting drones here at 45. We have Roaches that are already being morphed into Ravagers. He's going to commit to a massive push here on 3 bases. He's going to be reinforcing with Lings. GuMiho hasn't scattered this. He does have units to defend. He already has a wall set up at the natural. He just has to recognize what's coming his way. The Viking is going to come across this.
Yeah, now GuMiho has to go full on into defense mode. He does have a couple of these Banshees out, but he doesn't have any tanks yet. He is getting Mag Field Accelerator for eventual Cyclones, and that will help him out later on, but not right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, the wall is not a wall right now. RagnaroK, he's trying to make an opening here for the Lings. Decent target firing on the Ravagers, but the Lings are flooding in.
And the Hellions were zoned away by all of these Roaches. Lings are getting so much SCV damage, and they should be able to take out this natural base as well, this natural CC.
Oh, yeah, we have a little bit of a late lift there. All the Roaches and Ravagers are being cleaned up, but the Lings, oh, they get a kill on that armory. The Lings are wreaking havoc right now, focusing as many SCVs as they can.
Yeah, even if this CC is getting repaired, just forcing the minerals out of GuMiho is huge, not to mention those 15 SCVs that RagnaroK was able to kill as well.
Yeah, 15 SCVs. The armory was killed, which is important because GuMiho is going into mech behind this. So he's forced to rebuild his armories to get back into those upgrades. And we may be looking for a bit of a longer game. I say that RagnaroK is in a pretty comfortable position. GuMiho he's gonna have a hard time counterattacking here with mech when he doesn't really have an economy to produce much.
Yeah, it's a fairly... Mech is a fairly resource efficient unit composition, but it's a very expensive unit composition.
Yeah, I mean, we can see here that he's got 3 factories that he can only really produce from 2 of them right now. Like, he's prioritizing SCV production because he lost so many of them. He's trying to get into, double upgrade production as well. This is quite greedy of GuMiho, but he has to try and cut some corners. He has to try and get away with whatever he can. Oh my
Thors?
God. Oh my god.
This early on? Well, I guess it's not that early, but yeah, on this low of an economy, GuMiho is trying to do a Quanta.
Yo.
But RagnaroK has Mutalisk on the way.
Unironically, he's actually trying to pull off a Quanta. Quanta does go double armor. He goes for a 1-1 quad Thor timing, if you remember. So, yeah, GuMiho is trying to do his best impression here. We'll see if he waits for 2 more medevacs and 2 more Thors. Nah, he starts tank production behind this. Smooch.
Coward.
Quanta, he only has imitators, you know? Like, no one can quite do it like him.
As we see GuMiho loading up his Thors. This is the exact wrong moment to move out.
Yeah. Oh, the Thors move out as the Mutas move in. 5 SCVs are going to be going down. Oh, we have some decent shots going off here, but it was just an unlucky timing from GuMiho.
It really was. Only 6 SCVs go down, quote unquote, but at this point, every single worker that GuMiho loses is going to hurt him that much more.
Oh, but he's going for the surround. He's coming in from behind with the Thors, and he's getting on top of the Mutas.
such a big brain. He is able to take out a decent amount of those Mutalisks. At the very least, this should prevent RagnaroK from trying to be aggressive with them once again.
Yeah, it looks like he has stopped Muta production, and this was a pretty expensive investment, and so far it has only gotten 5 SCVs, so not the best kind of trades here from RagnaroK, but he's transitioning into Lingbane Road Ravager, something a lot more solid. He's already got 88 drones. At this point, he can just forget about droning. He has more than enough workers, and he can just look to leave GuMiho alone and just dive on him whenever GuMiho tries to expand and take a 4th base.
Yeah. Just throw Lingbane his way. Eventually he'll crack. GuMiho doesn't really have much of an economy. Speaking of a 4th base, that 4th CC is about to finish up, but you need 5 CCs, if I'm not mistaken here. 5 bases here as a Terran player if you want to play a Mass Turtle style, especially with mech.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can get that 4th up and running, because RagnaroK is about to max out. He has Vipers on the way as well, and once he has those Vipers, he can try and break these entrenched positions. GuMiho is going to be expanding linearly here towards the top right-hand corner of the map, and we'll see how long it takes RagnaroK to get eyes on this.
Interesting choice. It's a base that's a little bit more isolated, but it does also mean that GuMiho can reinforce a little bit quicker if need be. He loses all his Hellions, but maybe this is what he wanted. Maybe he wanted to clear up supply. No, he is remaking those Hellions.
Yeah, he's trying to remake his presence. Meanwhile, the Mutas do confirm the 4th base location here. RagnaroK now, he's got some choices, some avenues of attack. He can try and punish that base, but GuMiho's already getting in position. He already has a sensor tower here as well.
Yeah, he should be safe up in that 4th base location. Especially with Planetary Fortress about to finish up. GuMiho is clawing his way back into this. He's not maxed out, but he's on the way to getting maxed out.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job at turtling here, and RagnaroK has been finding a couple of good opportunities here and there, but the longer this game goes on, the scarier it's going to be for RagnaroK, because GuMiho, he's going to have a superior army. Straight up, it's going to be more efficient. And if he can get a 5th up, he can also start working on a bank.
He really can. Again, that's kind of the name of the game of Turtle Terran. 5 bases, bank up, and then eventually just force your opponent to waste resources. Very important blinding clouds do get thrown down here from the Vipers. There is still 1 tank in play, and it's able to take out a lot of Banelings, but not before the Banelings crash into these supply depots and take out a decent chunk of the ground army. The supplies are surprisingly evened out.
Yeah, like RagnaroK just spent a lot there to kill, I think that was like 4 tanks. He didn't really kill too many SCVs. Like, that was a lot of supply thrown away. I don't want to say it was a bad fight, but we can see that RagnaroK, yeah, he is able to remax here. He did have a large enough bank to do it, and he can look to try and do that again.
Yeah, it's not a bad fight simply because RagnaroK did have a bank, and simply because RagnaroK is looking to remax and refine his army a little bit by throwing out some supply, and Ultra Cavern is on the way as RagnaroK tries to move out and attack something, or GuMiho, sorry, tries to move out with these stores and, yeah, just try to kill something with them.
Yeah, he's trying to be active with his stores. He's trying to catch whatever units he can. We just see the Greater Spire is done, so RagnaroK, he can transition into Broodlords if he needs to. Remember, this is kind of an era where the Broodlords are going to be a little bit faster than what we're used to. They wouldn't be a bad choice, especially because it's very little anti-air, but here we go. RagnaroK, he's coming in for a second wave.
Yeah, this time the blinding clouds weren't quite there. A lot of Vipers did get sniped. GuMiho surprisingly hasn't remade his tank count despite losing only 4 tanks earlier on. He hasn't really been able to replace them. Yeah,
he's actually been making nothing but Thors instead, and the Banelings once again are all thrown away. They get some mule kills and a couple of SCVs, but not too much. GuMiho doesn't sustain too many losses, but at the same time, he doesn't have a lot to work with either.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't lose much until he realized that he lost about 20% of his supply.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't lose much, but he also doesn't have much, you know? It's
he doesn't lose much because he didn't have much to lose.
True, true. As we do see GuMiho trying to expand and take a 5th base. I do think at the moment he's still just trying to focus on the defense. Thankfully, you called it, and he is going back into tank production. That's something that we are severely lacking. He's also going into Viking, so he's getting ready for like a Broodlord switch.
Yeah, but little does he know the Brute Lords aren't coming. I can't say I blame him. He did scout the Spire earlier on, or the Greater Spire earlier on, I should say. So this is a pretty... Going into Brute Lords is a pretty natural transition, but RagnaroK, he's always one step ahead. He is the Giga Brain.
Yeah, he's going into Ultras instead, and I think that's because he noticed the low tank count, so he smells weakness here in GuMiho. He's going in for the 3rd wave. Tanks are not in too bad of a position, and we actually don't have any Vipers.
Yeah, the Vipers aren't here to yoink or to Blinding Cloud. There's one tank still in the back line. Yeah, wreaking a lot of havoc. The Ultralists only now finish up Kindness Plating, if I'm not mistaken, so all of them go down. That's a very expensive loss for RagnaroK. He still has a mineral bank, but he's running out of gas.
Very clearly, Vipers were needed in this fight. He does take out the CC. Not bad, but GuMiho had a 5th. So he still has 4 mining bases, and we have 2 more CCs finishing up. GuMiho has been able to trade giga efficiently here, just doing nothing but defending.
Oh. And I love the Hellbat juggle, able to take out 2 more Ravagers. Which is just a little bit more lost resources here for RagnaroK. RagnaroK is even supply blocked slightly. Okay, it wasn't supply blocked for long, but still.
Yeah, he's remaxing on Ultras and Lings. This time he has some Vipers. 3 Vipers have been produced, and there we go. They are just gonna gather up that energy and get ready for another major push. But as we saw, he has to be very careful because he is running out of gas, because he has been a little bit wasteful at times. And if you do it one too many times, then GuMiho is going to be able to counterattack, and RagnaroK won't have enough to defend. So a lot of this is going to hinge on the next fight.
Really is. GuMiho close to maxing out now. RagnaroK has remaxed.
GuMiho, he even has 3-3 already finished for his vehicles. He has the best army that he can hope for at the moment. He's even going into Liberators for the time being. Meanwhile, here we go. RagnaroK, he's going in again.
Really important choke point, but really important Blinding Clouds. The Vikings were zoned away by the Corruptors and not quite able to take out the Vipers. And we see what a difference that actually makes. GuMiho still has a very good position, but he does sustain some losses.
He loses 4 SCVs, but the Sim City was so good. The Ultras were having a hard time pushing through. Even though these are smaller Ultras, they just couldn't really close that distance. They all went down, and now RagnaroK, he's rebuilding Roach Ravager Ling Bane. He's done with the Ultras.
Yeah, I think he's recognized that the Ultras are just a really expensive loss for him, but he invested so much into the Ultras, not just when it comes to the Ultra upgrades, but also when it comes to melee. He doesn't have +3 range yet. He's still on +1 Carapace.
Yeah, he's still trying to work on his upgrades. He's going in once again from a bit of a different angle. There was no sensor tower, so GuMiho wasn't in position with his entire army, but oh god, the tank shots go off, and without Vipers, pushing into tanks is always a mistake.
As we can just see, GuMiho, for the first time this game, I think it's just evened up the supply.
Yeah.
RagnaroK, some ultra efficient trades.
Yeah, RagnaroK has been aping a little bit too hard here. You know, GuMiho has just been an iron wall. He is Demauer. He has a little bit German blood in him. But we'll see if he can sustain these pushes. We do have the Corruptors getting caught out towards the north, but in comes the Ravagers towards the south.
Yeah, a couple of good biles I think should be able to take out this CC, even if it does lift. Actually focusing the biles more on units, which I can't say I blame him. Great use of the Viper yoinks.
Yeah,
taking out some very, very expensive mech units.
The Abducts are on point here for RagnaroK, but he lost every single Viper again. Like every single fight that he has, he doesn't preserve his spellcasters, and he's not rebuilding.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell who traded better in some of these fights, but if we do look at the units lost tab, RagnaroK has lost a little bit more minerals. I say a little bit more. It's like 5,000 more minerals and 6,000 more gas.
He's lost twice the amount of gas that GuMiho has. RagnaroK once again is trying to push in towards the northern side of the map, pushing into tank fire. Ay, ay, ay.
He is able to get a couple of biles to land in the end, and honestly, GuMiho's gas mining isn't looking too impressive. So these kills still are getting value, but how many more times can RagnaroK really afford to inefficiently trade? I think that might have been his last hope.
The turns are tabling a little bit here as GuMiho is going for his first push of the game. We do see RagnaroK, he's trying desperately to build an army here to defend. He's got more roaches on the way, he's got more banelings on the way as well, but there's nothing stopping GuMiho.
Yeah, look at that tank line in the back. It's not the best spread in the world, but RagnaroK, like you said, lost all of his Vipers earlier on, and I don't believe he has remade. Okay, he has remade them, but they're still not in this fight. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, they're actually gathering energy as we speak. Oh god, they need a little bit more time here. As we can see, the Vipers are... Ooh, they actually killed the Spire. Thankfully, you know, this is the greater Spire that survives. But RagnaroK has been bleeding so much. He goes for a desperate Ling run by. He does force GuMiho to turn around. So RagnaroK, he is buying a little bit of time here. Oh, but he's also bleeding out a lot of Lings.
I think GuMiho is content with being able to kill just that one base. I mean, if we look at the incomes, GuMiho is slightly behind when it comes to minerals, but he is catching back up when it comes to gas.
Yeah, he is slowly catching up. We do see RagnaroK just making as many Ravagers as possible. Jesus, I mean, Ravagers are a great unit, don't get me wrong, but they're also quite expensive here. We need something to protect them. We need some kind of buffer.
Yeah, or at least some blinding clouds from the Vipers. It's one of those I can't believe those Vipers dodge all those miles. It's one of those weird Goldilocks units, isn't it, where Ravagers aren't as cheap as something like Lings, so they're still an expensive loss when you lose them, but they're also not the most effective or resource efficient unit either. I'm curious as to why RagnaroK is committing so hard into them.
Yeah, I mean, they're what you need to break these entrenched positions. Like, Biles are honestly quite good, but at the same time, I don't know if this is really what we want to be working with. We'll see as he's getting ready for another massive push. The tanks are looking very exposed this time.
Yeah, one Viper will go down, but most of the Vipers will nail their blinding clouds. GuMiho decides to go for a counterattack instead.
Yeah, GuMiho was just giga out of position. This army needed to be with those tanks, and because it wasn't, this fresh mining base is being shut down. 12 SCVs are falling. RagnaroK is finally dealing some pretty critical economic damage to GuMiho.
Yeah, these are all of GuMiho's fresh mining bases. It cannot be understated how important that is to take them out. GuMiho will be able to take out a couple of bases of RagnaroK. We are in full base trade mode.
Yeah, and I think GuMiho, he's losing every single one of his tanks. The Thor army is counterattacking, he's pushing on through. Who is coming out ahead here? I think I want to favor RagnaroK. I believe RagnaroK was able to keep his Vipers alive, and I believe he is going to bank them up.
No, he lost his Vipers earlier on. He had to remake them, yeah.
Yeah.
Or he had to remake one. He doesn't have enough gas to make another.
With only one Viper, we'll see. RagnaroK, he can maybe try and go for a surround, but there are so many Thors.
Yeah, I mean, the army supplies are looking about even, slightly in favor of GuMiho, and this is a Ravager Ling army from RagnaroK. If he's able to maybe get a big surround on these Thors with the Lings, and I think he has a chance, but there are still a couple of Hellbats in play.
Yeah, and I think this is fine for GuMiho. Honestly, he can just go back and defend because his CC survived. He just lifted them up. They all lived, but here we go. RagnaroK, he's going for a Hail Mary play. The Lings are all being cleaned up, but they do manage to barely get the tanks.
Yeah, and now the Thors are starting to fall as well. I don't think this is a good position to fight as a Terran player, but GuMiho has enough to win that engagement and keep this push going.
Oh, the stutter-stepping Hellbats, they cut off the Ravagers as well. GuMiho, he takes a bit of a better fight. He has his orbital, so he can go for a bunch of mules as well. He has an economy behind this. RagnaroK is down to 1 mining base with 0 mining.
He has 0 mining bases. Yeah, remember when GuMiho was contained on 2 bases?
Slow and steady. The hatchery is going to be going down here. There's no anti-air, so GuMiho, he can just micro his heart out with his medevac.
Just like so. The Thor juggling is real.
Oh my god, and just like that, the tank, 1 tank does go down, but we are down to 2 Ravagers and 1 Roach.
That's literally it. That's literally 0 gas mining. These are the last few mineral patches that RagnaroK's actually able to long distance mine from. GG is called in the end, and GuMiho proves that turtling is still a strategy, at least for Terran, in this new map pool. Very, very well played. Very, very patient. A very, very patient play coming out from GuMiho. Not to be confused with patience play.
GG, very well played there by GuMiho for being able to have the fortitude to be behind in that game and have a bit of a rough start. If you remember, it all started with that Ling Roach push, but to be able to weather the storm and slowly catch back up. But also, part of that is also due to RagnaroK's play as well. We saw that there were some times where he just kind of aped into GuMiho without Vipers, and whenever he did, he would just trade a little bit too poorly, and he just kept giving GuMiho these opportunities to come back and to get ahead even.
Yeah. Over and over and over again.
Oh.
And with that, we're going to be getting into game number 2. A very, very different map, and one that I imagine RagnaroK will want to end the game a bit early on.
Oh, here we go. We are loading into Royal Blood. As we load on in, I want to give a special shout out to Rude Sloth in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. Hope you had a great stream. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to the grand finals of ESL Open Cup Asia.
Yeah. Heart Root Sloth coming in here as we continue our best of 5 grand finals on Royal Blood. We're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, swinging all the way in that bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He's, of course, going to be representing Alpha X, the biggest brain of all the Zerg, going for an extractor trick. He is RagnaroK.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Storm Gaming. It is GuMiho. Going for a proxy 3 racks. No gases have been taken. We've got 3 SCVs on the map, and the racks are on the way. RagnaroK is sending his Overlord out to scout, though, and it looks like he is going to come across this very early on, and this is crucial. We saw Solar die to a proxy 3 racks when playing. Oh no, he turned it! No! RagnaroK! I was about to say that what's important is that when Solar died to this, it's because he scouted it very late and his Overlord didn't come across the Raxes. RagnaroK, he was about to see it, he was about to scout, and he turns his Overlord back.
The win rate of 3 racks is insane.
Oh my, feels bad, man. RagnaroK, he was about to see it, and then he diverted his Overlord away instead. Now he is none the wiser. But RagnaroK did actually go for a pool first opener. This time, though, he doesn't make 6 lings, he only makes 2. Oh, but he's here, and he's looking to, deny that bunker.
And he should be able to do so, but there are 3 SCVs in position. We'll see what he can really get done. These 2 lings that are on the map gives RagnaroK quite a bit of potential here. At any point, he could go for a surround, or, okay, it looks like he was playing to try to mess up the economy of GuMiho a little bit, but GuMiho will be walling that off.
Yeah.
Not a lot of drones have been pulled.
So a couple of things are going on right now. So one, RagnaroK did open up pool first, and GuMiho is fully aware of that because he saw the hatchery building, and that's why GuMiho is being giga aggressive right now. He goes all the way up the ramp, and he's going to be able to get a kill on this queen. He's going to be looking to get a denial on this spine crawler as well. If he can take this game, but it looks like RagnaroK has control of the high ground.
I mean, he might as well have already denied that.
Oh.
Spine crawler, honestly, great bit of body blocking there with that SCV. GuMiho, you need to target fire that down, buddy.
Yeah.
Cancels the... Wow. He forces RagnaroK to cancel the burrow, and in the end, I mean, he's done. A lot of roaches are out now, and they're going across the map to try to really mess up and go for a bit of a base trade, but okay, maybe RagnaroK can win it.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Because of the pull first, RagnaroK immediately went for the Roach Warren. We do see the majority of those roaches surviving. Actually, it looks like he wants to try and collapse onto this bunker. He's not going for a counterattack. GuMiho is none of the wiser right now. Here we go. RagnaroK is going for the surround, and he's going to be able to shut down this bunker.
Yeah, the fake out was absolutely huge from RagnaroK. Oh, the SCVs were all taken out, so the bunker could not be repaired, and the hatchery survives. That's the most important thing to keep in note right now. RagnaroK has his larva, he has his production potential, and he can mine.
Yeah. RagnaroK, he can mine. He morphs his weakened roaches into Ravagers. He's going to be camping the production, and upon camping this production, I believe GuMiho has nothing left. He's rallying some Marines back at home, though, so he actually has a decent army. Is this enough, though, to fight against the Roach Ravager?
Well, maybe. We'll see. A lot of these roaches are weakened up, but a round of reinforcements has been sent over. Weakened roaches have been turned to Ravagers, but Ravagers, of course, are a lot squishier than roaches are.
Ooh, GuMiho's getting ready for a bit of a surround here. He's looking to try and dive on top of this army. Meanwhile, RagnaroK is droning back at home. We do see GuMiho. He's going in.
Yeah, but RagnaroK turns around. He knows that what GuMiho was planning, and he is able to get more SCV kills and makes it out of here with most of his Ravagers alive. I mean, he's kiting decently, but GuMiho is starter stepping really well too.
Yeah, he really is, and RagnaroK survives with 2 Ravagers. What's important, though, is that because the hatchery survived RagnaroK, he is getting fully saturated on 2 bases. He's looking to expand and take a 3rd as well. RagnaroK is still fine economically. He's still fine to lose this army as well. He's even looking to try and trade as best he can with it.
It might be a little bit frazzled when it comes to the mental, but he's held. He can relax now. He knows that he's ahead. GuMiho has a lot of production available for him, and it's about enough to go for this 3-1-1 that he's going for. But he needs to start saturating that natural base. Yeah,
once again, another surround is being set up. I love the movement here from GuMiho every single time. It looks like he just doesn't have the numbers, though, and 1 Ravager is going to be able to... Oh, no, it does go down. 1 Ravager does go down.
But 1 Ravager survives. So fluid, the movement coming out from both of our players.
Yeah.
They're like water.
And after all said and done, I do believe that RagnaroK is in a good position. And GuMiho, unlike the previous game where he was able to come back and turtle, mech is not on the way. We see a commitment into Stim at the moment, so GuMiho is going to be playing with Biotank.
Yeah, GuMiho wants to go for another timing, which I would say is a good idea if he kept all of those Marines alive earlier. Obviously, he has reactors on these barracks. He can remake these Marines, and he is just pumping them out as much as possible, as quickly as possible. But I don't know, I don't think he'll have as good as an army this game.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, we'll see, because we've seen RagnaroK throw away leads before. We've seen him hyper commit and be hyper aggressive and be punished for that. As RagnaroK, he is cutting drones here at 46. He's going for a massive Ling Ravager push, or mainly Ling push, to be honest. We'll see what he can get done here, as it looks like he was able to pile down that first tank.
Yeah, pretty important pick off here for RagnaroK, especially if he's planning to commit to this. He does have enough Ravagers to one-shot the tank once again, like so, and the Lings is starting to flood in. The other tank is not in position to support this.
Yeah, the tank of the high ground is a little bit out of range. The boys are being pulled, though. The Ravagers were focused down. Very nice micro there from GuMiho.
Yeah, only 5 SCVs go down, which, in all fairness, does hurt him quite a bit. But I think taking out those 2 tanks already is valuable here for RagnaroK.
Well, the thing is, because those tanks died, it means that RagnaroK is pretty safe from a counterattack. It means that there isn't going to be a tank push. RagnaroK is free to drone, and all he has to worry about is drop play coming out from GuMiho, which can still be scary, but nowhere near as scary as a committed push. So RagnaroK is free to, again, focus on his economy, work on his upgrades as well, which is what we can see. He's transitioning into Lingbane Roach Ravager. GuMiho needs to do some damage with these Marines.
Yeah, he knows it, and he is going for a committed push. Which, again, is a little bit questionable, but I can't say I blame him for just wanting to get something done. This is a good tank position.
It's not too bad. He doesn't siege, though. It looks like he wants to make sure he can go for a hot pickup. He does take down one of those queens, but there we go. He's more concerned with saving his units. Doesn't want to lose anything.
Which makes sense, especially since he does seem to still be building up for a big push. You want to conserve your units as much as possible and then just have them regroup as they attack.
Yeah, this is a decent supply block that RagnaroK is stuck in as well, so nicely done here by GuMiho. He's, again, flirting with death a little bit, just stimming on forward, picking off whatever Marines he can. A second tank is going to be joining the fray. This push is getting a little bit scarier.
Yeah, like so. This is a really good tank position as well. I love the tank positions in this current map pool. All of the lings just get deleted, and now it's just Queens and Ravagers that GuMiho has to worry about.
Yeah, GuMiho getting a little bit bloodlusted there. He dives on in once again. He loses one tank, and he's going to be able to get one Ravager. The transfuse keeps the Ravager alive.
And you can't really say the same about the Marines. That bloodlust, I think, really cost GuMiho to fight, and eventually the game. GG, RagnaroK is able to type this series 1-1.
Oh, GG, well played. That was pretty intense towards the end, but again, as we saw RagnaroK going for the pool first and going into Roaches, reading GuMiho very well, having a very strong answer to that proxy 3 racks. But I do think a lot of it did come down to the fact that RagnaroK was able to barely save his hatchery. If he didn't, I think, we would have had a very different game.
Yeah. I don't think GuMiho would have been able to win from there, but it would have been enough just to put them more on equal footing.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been a much longer game, which, thankfully RagnaroK was able to prevent that.
Yeah, it would have been very close, or much closer indeed. Regardless, this series is still going very back and forth, and we're tied up 1-1, but it's still a best of 5. We still got plenty more games ahead of us.
Yeah. It's a game of thinkers. It's better than checkers.
Oh, here we go. It's all about that brain. Whose brain melts first is the real question, if any, as we're getting into Ancient Cistern.
If I had to make a guess, I would think that RagnaroK's coming into this at a bit of a disadvantage, just based on recent events, but we are going to be continuing our best of 5 grand finals now on Ancient Cistern, like you just said. Yeah. Sewage map. In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in that bottom left-hand corner, we of course have the red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea, representing Alpha X. We have RagnaroK.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern. If at first you don't succeed, try again, as he is going for another proxy 3 racks. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is GuMiho.
Did you see what I saw in the mini-map light? RagnaroK had his camera right at where the 3 Rex location is. He's sending the Overlord. He is confirming. It's rallied. It's rallied.
This time he doesn't turn away. This time he is going to get eyes on these Rexes very quickly. Bearing in mind that RagnaroK this time went for a hatch first, so he isn't going to be blindly going into Lings. So we see he's pulling the boys, and because he was able to scout very early on, he has the opportunity to get here on top of this production and deny some of these Rexes from finishing.
Yeah, at least one of them. 2 of them will be able to finish up in the end. That's just math.
Yeah, this may not be worth it. If he isn't able to delay this Rax, and it's not going to be worth it here. The Marines are coming on out. Can he get any kills on these SCVs or Marines?
Well, so far 1 on the SCV and 1 on the Marines. That was the only Marine that was out in the map, by the way. These SCVs are pretty much defenseless.
Yeah, and in the end, we end up trading 2 drones for an SCV and a Marine. Was that worth it in the end? It's hard to say. Losing an SCV is pretty huge because that means the likelihood of the bunker finishing is a lot lower.
Yeah, I'd say it was worth it just because now GuMiho loses a lot of momentum that you really need when you're going for a 3 Rex like this. A lot of Lings are now in production for RagnaroK. More boys are being pulled, but I fear that RagnaroK might be a little bit bloodlusted here.
Yeah, but you know what? He target fired every single SCV. The bunker is cancelled. There will not be a bunker being thrown down, and that means that GuMiho will not be able to touch this natural hatchery.
Well, we'll see about that. That Spinecrawler is very, very low. If he's able to kite well enough and make use of a choke point well enough, then maybe there's a chance here for GuMiho to just break on through, but not for the time being. That Spinecrawler and the threat of being surrounded by Zerg Lings is still very, very scary.
It really is. And another Marine is going to be going down here. Transfuse is clutch. The Spinecrawler survives, and GuMiho is running out of steam. He throws down a CC on location, and now GuMiho has to play this safe. He has to try and contain RagnaroK.
Yeah, which is kind of difficult to do, all things considered.
And RagnaroK, he will not be contained. GuMiho is trying to dive in once again. He will get the spine.
And he backs off before any major damage can really be done to these Marines.
Yeah, but now the link speed is finished. There we go. Every single Marine is going to be going down. GG gets called. RagnaroK taking game number 3, and now he's on match point.
Un momento, por favor.
Uno más.
And he wins this week.
Uno más is all he needs, and yeah, GuMiho, he's trying to be cheeky with these proxy Raxes, but now I think is the time to stop.
See, that's where we disagree. That's where we're both different, like.
This is where you double down and you proxy 4 Rax, papi.
You gotta commit. At first you don't succeed. Well, I was told that if at first you don't succeed, you're a failure, but I would say if at first you don't succeed, try until you do.
There you go. Just do the same thing over and over again, and eventually you'll get it right.
Yeah. I've told you the definition of insanity.
Speaking of, I love that there's some banter going on right now. Can we quickly get some translations? Can we figure out what they're saying?
Oh, where's my Google Lens? No, they're starting the game. Google Lens. Say Google Lens. Translate. Ah!
Oh my god.
The photo I took was way too blurry.
RagnaroK said thank you for your efforts, and GuMiho said 4 drones ... That's
all it takes.
That's all it takes, mate.
All it takes. But we are going to be loading into a brand new map, so the only one that we haven't seen yet is the one that isn't Babylon. Altitude, there we go. We are spotting into the map with the second shortest rush distance, Babylon. We're here in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in this bottom right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea, representing Alpha X, the biggest brain of Zerg, the denier of Rax proxies. He is RagnaroK.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Psy Storm Gaming. It is GuMiho. He took down Dark to get here to the grand finals, but maybe struggling here against an intellectual equal.
Yeah.
As this is a very colorful map.
It really is. I appreciate it.
My eyes are getting attacked.
I love it. That's the Ewoks.
Oh,
Having a fun time. By the doubloons!
Yo, they're rich.
We were asking for it. They're rich. That's why they're celebrating.
The ancient ruins. Is that like a? Okay, that's like Artanis. Yeah.
Yeah, gold Artanis.
There you go. So, the ancient ruins of Babylon here. So some of the features of this map, you did touch on it. This is one of the.
Is that a statue of like Zeratul?
Where?
By the doubloons, like lower than, yeah, there. Statue of someone. It's not Zeratul.
No.
What's her name?
Yeah, a lot of Protoss here, but this is one of the shortest rushes maps in the map pool. And I believe this is one
Borazun. That's her name.
There you go. One of the smaller maps in general, as I believe there are 6 bases to be taken instead of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh wait, no. There are 7.
What?
Yeah. So there are enough bases, but it is quite congested instead. So we'll see how this all kind of comes together here, as we're finally getting a much more standard game.
Aww. It is not what I expected from GuMiho or RagnaroK, but it does make a lot of sense. RagnaroK's on match point. He doesn't want to throw away his lead. GuMiho doesn't want to throw away his only chance of getting into an ace match.
Oh, exactly. He wants to try and play this a little bit more straight up. So because of the size of this map, I wouldn't be surprised if RagnaroK does throw down a Roach Warren at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if GuMiho opens up 3cc Banshee. No, he opens up 111.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it seems like GuMiho is a player who is a bit more averse to going for 3cc before Banshee. I mean, we saw a lot of it coming up from Cure today. I say a lot of it. We saw it once in his best of 3.
We did see it once.
I don't think we've seen it from GuMiho at all yet.
Yeah, and I think GuMiho, it makes sense because he's up against RagnaroK. He wants to be safer, less economic. He is set up here. Oh, he's not going for an add-on swap. He is going for a Hellbat push.
Hell yeah. Should be seeing concussive shells pretty soon, starting to be researched. Interesting that he's prioritizing the Viking before the medevac.
Yeah, so I'm really curious to see what kind of variant GuMiho is going for. Cure loves going for 111 Hellbat Marauder push with concussive shell, but some players have been trying to do this without the armory and just having Hellions instead of Hellbats, just so you have a little bit more micro ability. It's a little bit less committed, so you can transition out of it easier.
Yeah, and now it makes sense why he went for the Viking. He just wants to deny scouting information for as long as possible, like so. To be fair, if you're a Zerg player and if you see the tech lab being researched, I think you would normally assume that that's Stim and it's more of a standard 111 build coming out from the Terran player, but GuMiho definitely doesn't want to reveal his hand with these Marauders or with the armory that's on production. Those Ewoks have no money. It's so sad.
Smooch, papi, smooch. No money, no mercy. As we do have that armory, so it is indeed the Marauder Hellbat push rushing across the map. We do see a Roach Warren on the way, but RagnaroK needs a little bit more time here to really get them going. We do see the Queens coming on in trying to focus on that medevac, but the Marauders do get unloaded.
Transfuses have been popped. These Queens are pretty much out of energy. This is a lot of firepower from GuMiho, and he's doing such a good job of utilizing this choke point. Even if it is from the low ground, the Lings get roasted, and there are still Hellions that can be turned into Hellbats just like so. Roach is coming into surround though. And that should just about be the end of this aggression from GuMiho. I say should.
Yeah, the roaches, they come out in time to clean everything up. RagnaroK doesn't lose a single worker. So a very strong defense. He did lose all of his queens though, so his production, his overall crease spread is going to be impacted by this. But now RagnaroK is going for a massive counterattack. And back at home, GuMiho, he doesn't have any tanks. He doesn't have any banshees yet. He does have one on the way, but is that even going to be enough?
Oh, there's one.
Oh, there we go. He's got one. He's got a second on the way.
Going to be enough just yet. Okay, actually, it is enough to deter RagnaroK. Meanwhile, behind all of this is a giga supply block from RagnaroK. GuMiho really taking advantage of the fact that he killed every queen that RagnaroK had.
Yeah, and because of this transition into Banshees, GuMiho is fine. Like, he has deflected the counterattack. He is getting into a third CC. He's getting into the rest of his production as well. Like, that's the bonus of this Marauder Hellbat push. This variant, compared to every other Hellbat push, you can transition. It is less all-in.
Yeah. And despite not being as committed, GuMiho still did a ton of damage. Like, sure, he wasn't able to get any drones just yet, but killing all of those queens, like you said, has a bit of a domino effect. The creep spread is delayed. The amount of Overlord damage GuMiho was able to get was huge because there was no anti-air. Just the production itself has been seriously impacted.
Oh, it really has, and now we do see that even here, 8 drones going down. GuMiho, these Banshees have paid for themselves. He's doing great damage here across the map, forcing more drones out of RagnaroK. We do see, though, that RagnaroK is trying to be cheeky. We have a Spire on the way, and I believe, as I quickly check, this has been unscouted. So mutas are a great way to come back here. They're a great way to harass and catch your opponent off guard.
Yeah, especially since at this point, if you are GuMiho, you want to be focusing almost entirely on your tank production, your actual production facilities, you know, your barracks and your factories. You don't want to get missile turrets unless you know you need them.
Exactly, and at the moment, we'll see if he can manage to get a bit of scat off. He's got some forces on the map to harass. He's got a drop here towards the south. He's got a Banshee towards the north as well. You know, he's poking and prodding. He's got a good eye on the overall base count. Ooh, even a bit of a Hellion run by. It's a bit ambitious, but he's going to get some drones.
Yeah, a little bit. And, I mean, the Hellions, they're a fairly cheap unit, all things considered. So if you want to sack them to prevent some mining, then, yeah, go ahead. As long as they're still in low numbers.
Exactly, but this is scary. We have 14 mutas on the way. Still unscattered, still no defenses back at home. If RagnaroK gets into a mineral line, he can do devastating amount of damage. At the same time, though, GuMiho is working towards a big push.
Yeah, this lines up very, very well with his timing. He just finished 1-1 and Combat Shield. Just about missed the Mutalisk, but I think just hitting at this point will force the Mutas to turn around. Tanks are a little bit exposed, but there's still plenty of Marines.
And here we go. The Ravagers are coming on in with the Mutas to support them, and it looks like one tank is going to go down. The surround, it should be good enough. It looks like RagnaroK is going to completely clean up this army.
Yeah, the surround was good enough, but thanks to this Banshee, I feel like GuMiho gave about as much damage as he took. That said, he's not at all prepared for the Remax coming out from RagnaroK, nor the counterattack.
Yeah, these mutas, he was not prepared for them whatsoever. We do see the Viking going down. The production is under fire. We do have some towers finishing up in the mineral line, so RagnaroK isn't wasting his time trying to get into that. And he is being deflected, but at least GuMiho, or at least for RagnaroK, he forces GuMiho to go back home.
For now. Get a little bit of damage here by the NG Bay, just forcing a bit of a split of the army once again. And there are no tanks. There's a lot of bio, but there's no backbone to it.
Yeah, there's one tank coming out now, but it's a little bit far back here. Can it really support the army? Ooh, even a medevac gets bowed down.
I don't see that every day.
Oh, you really...
Oh, now he walks up funny.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we sold them over here. They're the same ones.
Yeah.
As we do see RagnaroK once again pushing on forward. This time the Muta's coming from behind. They take down the tank. The Ravager army is struggling a little bit against the Marines, but with the support of the Mutas, it looks like there's just a little bit too much Zerg here. GuMiho going into Thor production now. Maybe he can barely hold on, but he's already lost so many SCVs.
Maybe. The Thors do pop out just after they needed to get out. And in fairness, they are deterring the Mutalisks from coming back into position, but RagnaroK just finds other ways to get value with them.
Yeah, he's going for the NG base, and it looks like he will get one engineering bay for his troubles. He won't get the second. The Thor gets here just in time. Meanwhile, the Roach Ravager army overextends here. RagnaroK wants to be careful not to throw away too much supply. He just has to consolidate his army and go for another big push.
Like so. Yeah, I mean, his upgrades aren't quite there yet, so I do agree RagnaroK needs to be a little bit more patient, but he just wants to break this position. And if he can kill the tank, then maybe he'll be able to, but I think we're seeing once again RagnaroK's just throwing supply away for no good reason.
Yeah, he has to be very careful here because Roach Ravager doesn't trade well without Lings to support them, so a lot of his units are going down. At the same time, Mutas are harassing the 4th CC of GuMiho.
It's a pretty good surround with the reinforcing roaches that RagnaroK's getting, but the more ground he gains, the more likelihood he has of just walking into tank fire. He doesn't even need to walk into tank fire.
Yeah, as it looks like, oh, the CC did go down to those Mutas. RagnaroK loses his Roach Ravager army, but he can rebuild it. He's got to be careful, though, because his economy isn't amazing. Like, he can't just throw away these armies like he has before in the past.
Yeah, not quite. Not quite.
As the game is slowly evening up here, like, there was a moment where RagnaroK was ahead 50 supply, by the way. Like, he was miles ahead. But because he's been throwing away so much, yeah, things are, I mean, GuMiho, he can maybe try and hold on.
Yeah, we might even get a repeat of game number 1 here. Of course, the big difference is that these Mutalisks do pose more of a threat than they did earlier in the series. Even picking off more SCVs here in the natural.
Oh, yeah, there was no turret in the natural base, so a little bit of a misstep here from GuMiho, just being a little bit too greedy, is going to take more damage from these Mutas. Meanwhile, RagnaroK is taking this opportunity to expand and drone up. I think this is a good thing. RagnaroK needs to try and focus on his macro because he is pretty far behind. GuMiho has +3 on the way. He didn't rebuild his engineering bay, but otherwise he would have a massive upgrade lead.
Yeah, honestly, he still has that lead. Yeah, for quite a while.
He's gonna have 3-2 against 1-1. Like, his army is gonna be giga efficient. Thankfully, we have Baneling speed on the way. It's still not done. I do think that there is an opportunity here for GuMiho.
Yeah, and I think he has recognized that too. He is just trying to strike right in the heart of RagnaroK's bases.
Yeah, we see a little bit of a Ling run by here, but GuMiho is not turning around. I love this. GuMiho, he recognizes that, mate, right now you are at your weakest. I am pushing on in. And GuMiho, with this one Hail Mary push, he can look to end the game.
I think it's very likely that he does. He just needs to siege his tanks in position. The Liberators go down, but the Liberators aren't the important unit. He Doom drops right into the main base, and he still has a couple of tanks in the low ground. Wow. I think GuMiho's going to turn this game around.
Yeah,
completely.
He's taking control of the main base. Oh, the Banelings are stuck behind the Queens. RagnaroK having a really hard time pushing up into his own main base, but it looks like he has an overwhelming amount of supply. GuMiho doesn't lose too much as he does pick up whatever he can, but behind this, he did lose a base.
Yeah, I think GuMiho might have missed his chance to just end it all. A lot of Banelings now crash into Marines as he was preoccupied back home. He does have a lot of reinforcements that are making their way across the map, but now RagnaroK has more of a defender's advantage.
Yeah, exactly. The hatcheries were left alive. It looks like RagnaroK has broken on through. GG gets called, and RagnaroK takes the series 3-1.
Feels bad. I saw +3 just finish up at the end there for GuMiho. But yeah, otherwise, GG, very well played. I think we honestly could have gone to the ace match at multiple scenarios, honestly, not just in that game, but also in game number 3, where GuMiho went for another proxy 3 racks. Yeah, very nice back and forth that we've got between the two intellectuals of StarCraft 2.
Definitely. GG, well played. We almost saw GuMiho claw his way back in that game. Like, we saw how powerful that push was looking. Yeah, like we saw him break into the main. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to take control of the main base. Maybe if he had gone in with everything, like if those tanks that were on the low ground instead were on the high ground, just to solidify his position and solidify his control of that ramp, I do think that he would have at least been able to kill the main. Would that have been enough to win the game? I don't know, but like it was a very intense situation.
I definitely agree. Either drop all of the tanks into the main base or be a little bit better at selecting his tanks and target firing the banelings that were all bunched up there. Yeah, it only took a couple of banelings to break on through and really put a wrench in GuMiho's plans there. But despite that, yeah, I do definitely think that GuMiho, despite being behind a little bit, clawed his way back in. RagnaroK just sort of stomped on his hand just as he was about to lift himself above the ledge, though.
Yeah, RagnaroK, you know, GuMiho, he was holding on to dear life on the edge of the cliff, and RagnaroK just whispered, "Long live the king," and just pushed him off into the antelopes.
Yeah, it's like, "Long live Prince Ali Ababwa."
Mate, there was like a 5-second window where the banelings were stuck behind the queen, and I was convinced that they were all going to explode. I was convinced that the tanks were going to decimate everything on that ramp, but it never happened, right? As you were saying, you know, like
they're focused on Ravagers instead.
Yeah, and I was as a Zerg player, I was surprised. I was like, oh my god, that's crazy.
As a Terran player, I was shocked and sad.
But yes, regardless, GG, very well played here to our two players for making the grand finals as insane as they were, with a lot of cheese, a lot of proxy play, and some insane comebacks as well. Congratulations to RagnaroK for winning. I think this is the first ESL Open Cup on the new map pool. ESL Open Cup Asia with the new map pool.
Wait, was last week's NA and EU play? I think they were, now I think about it.
I know they were on the new patch. I don't know if they were on the new maps. Don't have confirmation on that yet. But regardless, it was really fun to see all these new maps. Really refreshing as well. They're very colorful, a lot of them, I feel.
Yep, I love them. I think I didn't think it was possible, but I think I like them more than the current pool.
Oh, okay. Visually, I think I agree.
Visually, definitely. I think it'll take a couple more. It's gonna take a couple more events before and me as well, actually playing on them before I get to a sense of what they are like in game or how they function. But yeah, I definitely see a lot of potential. There's a nice bit of diversity there. You got the cinematic map, you've got the symmetrical map, and you've got the rush map.
Yeah. We also didn't get to point out, but like there's a lot of different features on the map as well. Like, you know, we didn't get to point it out, but there's like slow zones in one of the maps earlier. I think that was on oh god, the name.
One of them, yeah.
Okay, I think it was on Neo Humanity. I think Neo Humanity has slow zones, but there was proxies, so we didn't get to we didn't really get to see it come to fruition. We didn't get to see altitude, so we're still a little bit in the dark in regards to that map. But yeah, it's looking quite good, and I can't wait to really sink my teeth into the new maps once they do come out on the ladder. Soon, TM.
And with that, soon, TM. Next patch, promise. And with that, I think that just about wraps us up here today. A bit of a shorter broadcast, just about past the 3-hour mark, but I was thoroughly entertained. I think a lot of that was because it was a new map pool, but a lot of that also was just we got to see the players experiment quite a bit.
Definitely. And if you want to tune into more of ESL Open Cup Asia and the new map pool, then check us out. Tune in next week, because we will do our best to try and provide you weekly coverage on this tournament and bring you as much Korean StarCraft as we can. Meanwhile, our next broadcast is going to be at some point this week. We still need to figure out what days exactly, but we have finished DreamHack Atlanta, our DreamHack Atlanta coverage. It lasted 2 months. But
November finally ended.
November's finally over, and now we have a Home Story Cup replays, and we will be having 2 days of Home Story Cup coverage this week. I want to make them on Tuesday and Thursday, but we'll get confirmation. I have to, of course, confirm with Yaku and with Asher which days we can cover and how we want to sort things out and if things are okay. So if you missed the older maps, then we will have them in store for you for those Home Story Cup broadcasts.
Yeah, throwing them in a little bit there.
There's a lot of games. There's 4 groups in total, and I think I'm gonna split them up 2 days a group, so 1 week a group basically. So potentially 4 weeks of coverage ahead of us.
Yeah, quite a bit to look forward to there. But if people are whatchamacallit, not quite satiated yet, where can they find you, Light?
Oh, you can find me at light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I didn't stream today because, of course, we're casting ESL Open Cup Asia, but I should be live tomorrow. Just, trying to ladder and usually smoging on the ladder.
Yeah.
Just if you want to tune in to me losing MMR, then...
Heckin' Protoss.
Yeah. I got you covered. Oh, boy. But if you want to tune into maybe some Terran gameplay... maybe some placement matches. Yaku.
Yes.
Stream?
2 weeks from now, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Still trying to figure out how the new OBS works and how to fix that with Screen Switcher. But yeah, twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1, twitter.com @EmperorYakuzaku, ! Discord in the chat, and the bathroom because I really need to pee.
Go for it.
Maybe. See you guys.
Oh, good. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. If you want to tune into more of the CranKy Ducklings and check us out on all the social medias, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube because we upload all of our VODs to our YouTube channel on a daily basis. And we also have a Patreon as well. If you want to support us on Patreon, if you want to give us some monetary support, all the money that we make goes towards our pro team and our pro players. Dolan, Patty Mac, Vindicta. We do our best to support them as much as we can. And yeah, it's thanks to you guys in the chat that we're able to do so. So thank you so much for all the support. Again, our next broadcast is most likely going to be on Tuesday, so in 2 days. We're going to have a day off tomorrow. Again, we're going to be focusing on our solo content, on our regular ladder games for that, ladder streams, sorry. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to support Asher, bro, Asher wasn't casting, but stick around because we are going to give Asher a raid. He is currently streaming, he's laddering on the Korean server, so give him some love, give him some support. I am starving. I'm gonna go get some food. I need some food inside me, papi. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you guys over on Asher's stream. Until then, ciao.